Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RedBull ECL.
You started off with such steam.
Alright, let's do it again. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the RedBull ECL 2013. We have lost 2 lights, we have lost Ben Wu, but we have gained LD. How are you doing today?
I'm good. The AC in the house is broken. We are dying. So I said, you know what? Forget production value. Let's turn off the lights.
I got boba, so I'm good.
Yeah.
Product placement?
Keeping the ice in your veins. Guys, we're going to hop inside the game. We're halfway through the first day of group stage action. There's 4 best of 3s, single elimination. And on that note, draft is underway. Tongfu versus LGD China. It's our 3rd best of 3. We have 4 1v1 best of 3s after this as well. So a lot of stuff to look forward to. We had a long series last time, Lumi. Pretty long. Ben Wu was exhausted. He was just passed out, comatose, out next to the pool.
I actually have not seen Ben Wu not exhausted since he was at BTS. He's exhausted even when he wakes up. I don't know how that happens. Maybe
I have no idea who's responsible for that. Yeah. I mean, he barely even works when he's here.
Yeah, like you actually, when you are done working, you go to bed.
Yeah.
And you wake up like sort of okay because you're still sick right now, so maybe not 100%. He goes to work. When he's done and everybody's like, let's go boba. He's like, oh yeah, let me go boba too. And he eats and he gets 3 hours of sleep and then, now he's sleeping again. But yeah, let's actually jump into draft here as we do have a couple of heroes being selected. One thing I do want to say is that when LD set down, thank you. Production value.
I wanted to wave through the boxes.
Shout out to Victor once again for joining us here as a last minute producer. But you sat down here and you're like, let's hope for some good games. And then I saw it was LGD China and Tongfu. So get ready for some Farm Fest. Get your popcorn out. Get your soda. Whatever that keeps you up.
Let's get hype!
So much
Creeps
hype.
are going to die this game. A lot, and on that note, a lot of creeps are going to die this game. Dragon Knight, Gyrocopter, Alchemist, Mag. This quad stack of heroes loves to farm stacks, loves to farm towers, loves to sit back and wait until they have max inventory and then try and win. Both teams, lots of AoE. This looks like a farm fest to me.
I do want to remind everybody, if you guys did not catch it late in World Cup, in the Grand Finals, the one game that LG China did take away from Navi was through this combo, Alchemist and Magnus. When they get this combo, in fact, when any team get this particular combo, it is just an absolute farm train because Alchemist may not be the fastest farmer without having things like a Battle Fury or without Acid Spring every single wave, but Empower really kind of lets you bypass that. You could go Shadow Blade, and that you could even use it as a defensive farming item. You just Empower hit every creep, every lane creep, every neutral creep, and even get a couple of hero kills sometimes. So I feel like LG Gaming already very favored. Tongfu got their dual core of Gyrocopter and Dragon Knight. They love to play dual core lineups. They're very good at doing that. But I just don't think they will keep up with that Grievous Greed farm.
Yeah, and you can get away with, I mean, from both sides, they can get away with the Magnus and the Dragon Knight, not these strong, particularly strong solo mids from levels 1 to 3 because they're both running the same type of hero mid.
Right.
So in the mid game, LGD China, they'll have the better 5-man team simply because of the Magnus pick. That much is guaranteed. Tongfu could spread the map more. That's what we might see from them. And with the Gyro, there is the possibility of Banana's long-lost support Gyrocopter. He actually pioneered this. Oh god, it was way back when a defunct league was being played. It was the end of last year. I believe its Gosu was trying to run a tournament called Asia Madness, and there was qualifiers. This was the first time I ever got to saw Banana play. I was not casting. B-Balling and Nebula were one of the last times they ever cast together.
That's a long time
ago. And Banana was playing a roaming support Gyrocopter before teams were even picking this hero at all.
Yep.
So I'm just saying, we could see it. But Chen will be picked up, and Chen, he usually is the jungle player for this squad, so likely not the case. It was a lovely tale on a galaxy far, far away, and yet here we are.
Yeah, support gyro, not really a thing anymore. I mean, the burst damage is always nice. I don't think any other support hero actually outbursts a gyro in terms of a support role. Naga Siren comes, I don't want to say close. She's halfway there with the Riptide providing minus armor. You have things like Soul Catcher boosting you up. I do not expect we're going to be in a world that sees Gyrocopter on the 4 or 5 role. But Bane Elemental here as a selection, really good against Gyrocopter, really good against Dragon Knight. Not particularly good against Chen because even if you Nightmare something, a really good Chen will take one of the Centaurs or Furbolgs and then take away the sleep.
Yeah, this to me is all about just the fact that Tongfu have 2 BKB carries. They have Gyro and Dragonite. Enfeeble and Fiend's Grip are going to be really good against them.
Yeah, you know you're going to have a good target no matter what happens in a team fight. Chen is going to provide a lot of early game push alongside with Dragonite and Gyrocopter. This Tongfu lineup has a ton of early game, and it makes me somewhat scared to pick a Bane Elemental who is not really good defensively early game. I mean, he's going to Nightmare one of your dude if they jump on them, but for the most part, he doesn't stop a push. In fact, he doesn't do anything to a push. Like, he's just kind of a sitting range creep during a push.
Yeah, that is a bit of a concern for LGD China, but at the same time, they have Acid Spray, they have RP.
Shockwave, yeah.
I think the big thing for them here is to farm that Magnus Blink Dagger fairly quickly. Once they have that, Tongfu will be reluctant to do anything more than a very slow and steady siege push. And a slow and steady siege push is not going to stop Alchemist from getting 5-6 slotted by the 30-40 minute mark. So.
Unless they have a Clockwork, which King J known to play quite a bit. Not exactly too impressive lately. Moo plays a great slow mid Clockwork as well. Back in the days when Magnus was the big boogeyman of the scene, I guess, always first pick.
Yeah.
Clockwork was one of the answer to him. You rocket flare him out, you hookshot him, and prevent him to ever using that RP against you. So we might see a revisit of the past. Clockwork not too bad as a way to actually go in against Bane as well. But for now, we're going to see a Rubik, 4th pickup. Another hero that's really good against Bane because when he's channeling his grip, free steal, and then you get a grip yourself.
Yeah, you can steal it, you can cancel it. You can also steal RP this game. You
Sure,
can lift
yeah.
Magnus mid-skewer. Rubik is a fantastic support pickup this game. The only thing for Tongfu is it's a bit greedy. And Alchemist, I mean, I've been talking a lot because it's LGD China, and I think it's fair to say you see Alchemist Mag, you expect a farm fest. But at the same time, if they want to be a little more aggressive in the mid-game, they have a Bane and Alch. That's actually a strong tri-lane. Now Jakiro comes out. There's definitely 2 different ways they could run this. They could aggressive tri-lane it, or we could just see a let's farm 6 stacks of neutrals at the 5-minute mark, in which case, well, they have a Lit Bane that needs level 6, but Chen, Rubik, unless you get the right creeps, they can struggle in that 3v3 scenario.
Yeah, I think aggressive tri-lane definitely works, especially against a Chen who doesn't actually participate for the first minute or so. So you definitely have a bit of time to make it work, but to me it's just a little bit risky. Why go offensive tri-lane when you could put Sylar, max 3 volts, 3 by 7, and just take the game in a very slow and steady fashion. So that's what I expect they will do.
So if they do that, then who do you go offlane here for LGD? I don't think you can do offlane Mag, because Gyro can zone him out of lane 1v1.
Though they have ran that in the past.
They definitely have. I don't know if this is the game for it.
Yeah, and it looks like both teams actually targeting banning some long laners. On one side, you see things like Darkster and Prophet being banned. On the other side, Enigma. So I think both teams could use a clock very well. Windrunners in the pool, and Yao's been playing that quite a bit. And we'll see.
I like this Enigma ban because it goes back to something you pointed out, which is that Tongfu have a very strong pushing lineup with Dragonite and Chen, just from those 2 heroes alone. So.
Right.
You give them an Enigma as well. They have a hero who can build a fast mech, a hero who can build a fast arcane boots, and then a hero who can just sit in the front and hit the tower in the Dragon Knight. So Tongfu go back for a Beastmaster. And now if I'm Magnus, I'm feeling very annoyed all of a sudden because there's a Dragon Tail, a Lift, a Spell Steal RP, and a Roar. 4 different huge ways to disrupt my initiation. But they have gone for the solo mag. Maybe a safe lane solo mag. Maybe a mid-solo mag, but it looks like a side lanes. Or I guess it could be a mid-mag and a safe lane puck.
It's just straight up off-lane mag who, I mean, we don't generally see off-lane mag too much. He's really a dying breed because if he has a very tough off-lane up top, other off-laner like Darkster and Nature's Prophet could rotate into the jungle. Yao would not have the option. And let's quickly introduce our 2 teams in the player here. This is the ECL RedBull quarterfinals between LGD China versus Tongfu. LG China, of course, is on the Radiant side. Yao playing on the Magnus. We do have DDC playing on the support Bane. We have, of course, Xiaowei playing the solo mid Puck. DD going to be playing the support Jakiro. And we have Sylar playing the one-row Alchemist. And before I hand it off and let you introduce Tongfu, can I just say that I have more energy when I'm casting with you.
Ben will not keep you awake.
Ben mother effing Wu just talk about how tired he is. Don't listen to me.
So hot in here.
So hot in here and getting the boba bribery worked for like 30 minutes and then he's like, ah, goddamn, I'm tired. But take it away, LD, and tell us why we're so excited and why we should be watching Tongfu Heroes.
On the dire side, we've got Hao, your one-position gyro, rushing the early reign of Basilius. He'll be playing in that safe position, the one farmer for this team. Banana, Jungle Chen, versatile player, veteran of the scene. We've got Song Sheng handling the support Rubik. It's a defensive tri-lane for Tongfu. Towards the middle lane, Mu will be playing that Dragon Knight, rushing a bottle, pulled a set of tangos. And then on the off lane, King J, the Beastmaster. I agree with you, Lumi, about something you said earlier, which is King J in his past few matches, great player, member of that legendary E-Home roster in 2010, one of the most accomplished players in the Dota scene period, and especially in Chinese Dota, has not been at his absolute best the past few games. So let's see if he can step it up here.
Yeah, I actually have not remembered a game where King J did not go negative, which is not a good way to actually start introducing him. He is going to get his camp blocked off by a support Jakiro Illusion. He already is available or prepared for the Sentry Ward D-Ward. Unfortunately, nothing for him to D-Ward just yet. But let's talk about this mid lane here, Xiao 8 versus Mu. Last time we saw this matchup, I think Dendi on the Dragon Knight actually beat an enemy puck. So let's see if Xiao 8 is going to have an easier time against Mu. I think he has the advantage, and judging by the way that he's lasting and denying, that he is particularly winning the lane for now.
Yeah, the Dragon Knight already has his bottle, though, because he was actually pulled a set of tangos, and he did the pretty greedy eco rush. Didn't buy any additional regen of his own. So after a few Breathe Fire spams, he'll have the bottle. He can start bottle crowing and just spamming. And the good thing is their offlaner, the Beastmaster, isn't a hero that needs the courier. So if you run a hero like Dragon Knight or Mag Mid nowadays with the bottle crow nerfs and changes, this is actually really important to run a side lane solo that doesn't need the courier, whether it's a Darkseer who can just go jungle, whether it's a hero like Beastmaster that just wants to farm Ancients and maybe even build a Soul Ring. So they get away with that. I think our Dragon Knight will still do pretty well in the end, but actually my last hits are not in the right order, so I'm having trouble seeing how he's farming. But I guess strategically, both teams are trading here. So LGD China getting a lot of levels early on Bane, and Jakiro farming an Alk. Just simply because they have the Alk, I give them the edge with this trade. Magnus is getting something out of the offlane. Tongfu, yes, they're getting farm on Gyro. Yes, Rubik likes levels, but it's a safe lane Alk. He's taking points in greed, and we all know what this means come mid-game.
Yeah, he's just kind of farming like a mid-man. Also, I've been kind of checking out how we're doing in the mid lane. Constantly, Xiao 8 is just lasting up to a storm. 14-4 when it comes to last and deny. I mean, as a range hero, especially with the no talisman, puck, really one of the higher base damage, clean attack animation, and more importantly, I feel like Yao getting level is very key, because once he gets his two important spell max, the Shockwave and Skewer, he's going to start working towards the Empower. And that's when your Alchemist, who is already farming like a boss, is going to farm even more.
Oh wow, this is pretty big. King J, you pointed out how he had a Sentry Ward to help ensure he could stack the Ancients.
Oh my goodness.
He got dewarded and they blocked the camp. This Sentry Ward doing a whole lot of work. So now as a result, actually I think, yeah, that was the one that was in range. So he can't stack the Ancients. He has no Sentry Wards left to actually deward the camp. King J is going to get very little out of the offlane, whereas Yao's getting quite a bit. He's already level 3. And this is where Gyro can bully a Magnus, but early on by himself he can't kill him. And Song Sheng's only level 2 Rubik. LGD getting more out of their offlane, crushing mid, and farming the scarier mid-game hero, the Alk.
Yeah,
it might look close, but they are heavily winning the laning stage.
I mean, this is also as a result of having a support that decides to jungle a little bit more. And this is definitely a trade-off, right? Banana is pulling his team ahead in terms of experience. Although, as I say, that LG's winning the experience war a little bit, particularly because Beastmaster hasn't got too much. But eventually that Chen will pull through. Maybe he's going to start setting up a couple of smoke ganks and perhaps try to get a kill on Yao. But for now, it's going to be LGD winning mostly every single lane. Seems like last hit has been taken over by Alchemist on the bot, but Puck still doing an exceptional job in terms of keeping up in terms of last hit and shutting down Mu. Out-denying Mu, outlasting Mu.
Yeah, for the time being, it's trades for both teams. It's an Alk who's outlast hitting a Gyrocopter. 4-minute rune's about to spawn. Mu's going to look to contest this one, and Xiao 8 will find a regen.
Ooh, what a lucky
He picks it up, he orbs south, and he will take a Breathe Fire, a parting blow for Mu, but he's got what he came for, and Mu, he'll continue to bottle Crow. As we've talked about a lot, when you run a hero like Magnus or Dragon Knight mid, you don't expect to win the mid lane, generally. You expect just to get levels, and farm is nice, but not mandatory. I think the real big question is going to be, what does Tongfu do with their first early movements from this gen? We'll see one now for Banana. He's already hit level 4. He got a lot out of the jungle early. I believe he had an early Wildkin, and he can push pretty hard. Once he gets 2 creeps, they could take one tower top, but since they've given away so many levels to Yao, I don't see them taking 2. His Shockwave, you can also TP in a twin-headed dragon. They won't easily be able to get 2 towers.
Yeah, a really good kind of wild creep pickup here in the form of a Furball, because not only does it do AoE damage, it does a ton of AoE damage, and really synergize well with that Fable as well as a Flat Cannon to mow down that creep wave. They also protected this particular siege unit. That means we're going to see a lot more easier siege. They are going to bring down the tier 1. The question is, who's going to get the last hit? Is it going to get denied at all? No deny attempt. It's going to be how that gets a last hit on the gyrocopter. Very nicely played. A good recovery in terms of the goal, because all the other lanes are getting outfarmed.
Yeah, you can see mid lane that as much as good of a start as Xiao 8 had, Mu is just constantly bottle crowing. He's still got Tread's bottle. He's only 9 CS behind. 7 denies, yes, but he's a melee hero. It's not really that bad for him. My question is, has King J started to get something? And the answer is barely. He's just hit level 2.
Oh, mid lane here. Dream Cold's going to get dropped. The Orb's going to fly through as well. DDC's going to drop the Nightmare, but Nightmare under the tower is never really a good thing. Shanshan's going to come in with the lift, but we're not going to see any range form stun here, and that's where the design comes in. Oh, the stun is going to get gained on him because he does not boot the speed. DD is going to go down. First blood gets drawn here on Mu on the mid lane, and it didn't matter whatever Xiao advantage had in terms of last hit. Mu just got it all back.
Yeah, and Song Sheng, thanks to the tower going down top, had his early boots. Great teleport reaction from this team. And the thing is, they pushed to tier 1 top, but now Yao's just farming that. So now Yao hits level 5, getting close to level 6. There's a call down.
Oh, and Skewer's going to get...
He'll skewer away. Yeah. Whereas King J, still level 2. I mean, both of these heroes are very important to their teams in the mid game. Beastmaster, I would say less for his roar and more just for having some levels, Inner Beast and X spam, so they can push. With Chen Creeps, with Inner Beast, and with the Dragon Knight. When he's this under leveled, you ain't getting Inner Beast. You get 2 points in Hawk as his choice. And mid lane, we'll just have Mu now hitting level 6. Can start to pressure the tower, just chipping away at it here and there. And I think this is the goal for Tongfu, is just try and chip away at the towers mid as the Dragon Knight, keep a TP handy on your Rubik, and try and catch up your Beastmaster in terms of levels. He's starting to stack the Ancients now with his core. He still hasn't managed to really farm them at all, but he'll get a chance now.
Yeah, even when he stacks it, he's going to have like a level 2 and maybe level 3 WoW access, and it takes you like 7 or 8 level 3 WoW access to actually bring down that camp. So it's going to be a long, long while before he does anything.
It may not even be for him. It may be for the Gyro or the... Well, maybe not the Dragon Knight, because he's only level 6. But
I mean, at the very least, he should be there for the EXP. Like you said, EXP is a very, very key component for him. Xiao 8 with the Invisalign at the mid lane, maybe threatening to drop a Dream Call, but if you see that Dragon Knight just going in and out and start burning this tower with his Poison Breath. Banana on the bot lane here, starting to jungle from low ground to high ground. Okay.
Yeah, there was a bit of a rotation through the jungle for the time being, but then everyone backs off, goes back to farming. There's a Dragon Tail mid, and Moose goes in on Xiao 8. Could he actually look to kill him here? Orbing forward to Xiao 8, Song Sheng was looking for a lift. Both teams have Observer Wards mid. Very concerned about how their mid's getting ganked in this game. Because if your mid gets ganked, be it the Puck or the Dragon Knight, that's where, I think especially for Tongfu, they can push off of a gank. That's something they really want. And now they rotate to, here's through the enemy jungle, looking to find a pickoff. Uh-oh. DD could be in trouble.
Yeah, DD definitely in trouble. It depends on where the creeps are coming. They're going to actually net on Sylar here, but unfortunately, he just walks right back out, pop his ultimate. Sun's going to fly through. Two-man stun, great job, but Shansha's going to rotate in, toss him back, lift him up. Well, the other way around. Three-man Dream Coil, and here comes the Puck, but he's out of mana at this point. Dual Breath, not enough damage output here, and Hao's going to be fighting away. Yao wants in. He does not have mana, 40 RP. They can focus on Hao. There's one kill, but everybody's so damn low. Fable bringing them even lower. DDC, 100 HP, a couple more right clicks going to do the job, and there you go. Another kill happening. LGD on the losing end. RP just didn't have the mana, and not having the Arcane Boot is just killing them right now.
Yeah, he got levels, but normally you see the Mag just wait to fight. They'll lift up DDC. They kill off the Bane as well. Now they could kill Yao. This could end up being a team wipe, and RP deployed for Nada. Normally Yao on the mark with those RPs. Not the case here. That's what you call a disaster, Lumi. 5 heroes getting wiped bottom. 6-1 your score. All of a sudden, Tongfu... Well, I said where's the levels on King J? There's the levels on King J. Now he's got Arcane Boots. Now they've taken 1 tower. Bananas hit level 7, has Arcanes, and is halfway to a mech. The early movement from this Chen has been superb. Came mid, turned the tides of that gank. We'll actually see Gyrocopter get picked off mid by a 3-hero TP from LGD. So they invest a lot for that. But I think Banana's movement is the story of this game. We showed up mid at the right time to turn things around, get his team a first blood, push the top tier 1 early, farmed officially in the jungle for the first couple of minutes, and now is making big plays happen. He's going to have a really fast mech, and on the back of that, Tongfu, they'll be looking at tier 1 mid. and possibly a Roche or some tier 2s after that.
Yeah, also it seems like Yao is somewhat flustered. That's an RP that you should not drop. If it's very reminiscent of like a TIE Hunter dropping a Ravage before it dies. It doesn't actually do anything, and it puts your ultimate on cooldown, which you could be using for solo kills or whatnot. And definitely it's not helping out that Xiao Is not really farming that well. I was going to suggest that he should straight up, as he's challenging for rune, nice Invis rune pickup. I was skewers into maybe a lift. He popped his Invis rune.
There's a nice path. No coil thrown out. Ice on path on 1. Now trying to go back for Mu. They're a little bit indecisive here. They'll skewer Sangsheng. Mu on the run. I think Mu will live. Macro Pyre drop. Not accomplishing a whole lot. There's Aurora on DD. Walking him in place. In comes your call down. Hal's here. Clean up all over the map. Yao on the run. This Gyro doing so much damage. In fact, he's been ignored by Sylar, who wants King J instead. He'll go down under tower, but they don't get the Gyro just yet. How? Now on the run. The orb brings him low. He almost kills off Xiao 8. Will there be the last flak auto attack? Nothing left there. Oh, man. Xiao 8 just barely living. And he needs to live, because they need his Blink Dagger. The issue is, Yao keeps on dying. He had 800 gold and his boots and a magic stick. Now he's got 300. Because he's died twice, has not accomplished a whole lot. With him having this bad of a start, Xiao 8 has to have he can't die, because if neither of them gets Blink, they're going to be hard-pressed to defend these towers.
Yeah, he should be okay now with the strength threats, being able to toggle, and of course he has no talisman. Just a lot of early game stat item, but that's the example. For example, if RP wasn't spent on the bot lane, he would have had it during the river fight, and the fight would have gone a ton better before the Gyro and the Chen came in. But Xiao 8 using really good basically landing every one of his spells and doing an excellent job in terms of making sure they're winning, or at least coming out even in these team fights.
Smoke from Tongfu.
And let's see how much you're going to do with that smoke. King J, of course, with that Hawk to scout overhead. It's really good to smoke with your Hawk overhead, because generally that's the thing that's in the front. That's the thing that generally flies over trees. You get vision on top of them first, and if your smoke breaks, you know if there's invisible heroes nearby. Just a ton more information you gain. They will run back and maybe actually go on the mid lane. You talked about how important Xiao A is. If he dies here, that's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, he really needs to farm the Blink Dagger. That's objective number 1 for this team. Also get the Alk involved, who has a Midas, started with one pretty early, is now going for a Shadow Blade. We'll actually see an engagement mid. They've stunned out Xiao 8. He's in trouble. RP on 2. Yao nails that one, that's for sure. Skewers 2 back into the tower. Tongfu, see ya. Push over. King J on the run. How as well. They might lose 3 or 4. It's just a bloodbath in the middle lane. Both teams trading like crazy. Still running as King J. He's been sent home. Can he get back in time? Just barely he will. Able to escape. If they had Banana's mech, I think these pushes would be a lot different. But unfortunately, they're just a few creeps short. Probably 3 minutes, not even 3, like 1 or 2 minutes in the jungle away from having it. They also don't have House BKB. I'm looking at Tongfu and I'm seeing a team that is so close to some big items. BKB, maybe they don't finish it, but they could at least be closer. And the mech, the big thing, they could have it by now. I would like to see them get at least 1, if not 2, or try to bait out some LGD ults before they push.
Yeah, for the last couple of minutes, Banana hasn't been able to go back to jungle and farm for that mech. They weren't really pushing down towers, so his gold has been really slowed down, and as a result, there's no mech. Team fight didn't really go well for them, but for me, the MVP for that fight was definitely Bane, played by DDC. Really good Nightmare toggling to help his puck to stay alive, immediate grip to follow through, and of course, a 2-man RP really sealed the deal after skewering back to the tower. Looks like Tongfu trying to siege that tier 1 tower. They need some gold, especially on that Chen, but there's a glyph right now, and Puck does have the Dream Core in about 10 seconds. If they delay for a little bit longer, tower is going to go down, though. Who's going to get the last hit? Well, it's going to be
go to the Gyrocopter here, and that means Hal, closer to his BKB, he's just about got the second component. The big thing is the mech. Does he have the mech yet? 300 gold off. Should be able to farm it before the next clash. And you look at LGD's lineup, they all have massive AoE. Magnus, Puck, Jakiro, and to a lesser extent Alk with Acid Spray and auto attacks, and potentially Stun does. This mech is really important for them. And now, because of their composition, they have a Chen who's at level 8. He'll have the mech soon. And they'll have a tanky hero on the Dragon Knight, a Gyro who dishes out a lot of damage. Tongfu could definitely sneak Roshan, and that's something LGD are cognizant of. They really need to get some wards up on the map. You can see some sentries deployed by Tongfu to ensure LGD are playing in the dark. To me, this is all setting up for a sneak Roche in the next minute or 2.
Yeah, there's only one illusory orb to check it out. If you're on the Radiant side, you don't have any creeps to send in, you don't have a Hawk, for example. So Tongfu definitely have the Roshan advantage. They have good Roshan heroes to bring it down, of course, with the Beastmaster Aura, with the Chen creeps to tank and whatnot. But for now, they're focusing on keeping the creeps somewhat pushed, making sure that the hero's not being ganked. How really, really afraid on the top lane. Just he sees multiple heroes missing off the map and say, hey, let's just stay back a bit, miss a wave or two.
There is one other thing. There's the Shadow Blade out to think of.
Yeah. Is he done with it? He's got to go to it.
And there's a Blink Dagger on Puck, so all of a sudden their initiation just got a lot better. I mean, they don't have a Blink on Yao, that's for sure. He'll just get his Arcane Boots before the next fight. He's at least 2 fights off of, or like 6 to 7 minutes off of a Blink Dagger probably. So I still think Tongfu's got to be worried about this. Whenever you pick up a Shadow Blade on Alk, he can solo kill most heroes on the map. Maybe not the Dragon Knight, but I think everyone else, if they get caught, are vulnerable to being burst from full to nothing. And you find a kill like that, that buys your Mag some time to farm his Blink Dagger, that buys you time to farm your AC. This is a window for LGD China. The big issue for them right now is just that they're playing in the dark. I mean, I'm looking at their team vision. They have 1 Observer Ward in the enemy jungle, but Tongfu's not even there. Tongfu's farming Ancients, they're farming the LGD jungle, and they're pushing the lanes aggressively. So this ward doesn't actually do much for them, and they have to be worried about Roche.
And yeah, you talked about the Roche, and guess what's on the on the courier? It's going to be a Medallion Courage for King J. And with all these damage output, with all these ability to tank with Chen creeps and whatnot, but here comes Puck coming right and set up a shot on everybody. Sylar gonna let loose a Sun Banana down to about half HP, but Moo is gonna be sending on Sylar. That's a 3-man call down. Beastmaster on top of him as well. Sylar's gonna get bursted down. Meanwhile, DDC trying to grip up How, but it just doesn't work. They don't have that RP. They don't have the AoE. He tosses him back in. It's gonna be a 1-man RP. Skewer backward against the Dragon Knight. Dragon Knight's low. Dragon Knight is dead, but where's the Puck? Puck running away on the back line, trying to get something set up shop. There's a 1-man RP. Or is it a 2-man RP on Shansheng? Shansheng's gonna also go down. That's a 4-man kill, despite not opening up with the RP and despite the Dream Coil only hitting 1.
They hit 1 with the Dream Coil. They hit 1 with the RP, and it's a support Rubik, who is dead anyway.
Right, and they get 4 kills.
They take 4 kills. I think the big thing there was that our Chen never got off Hand of God in the fight and was forced to self-mech very early on.
Yes.
So the cooldown looked decent. It hit 3, but it kind of hit them at the boundary. There was no Rocket Barrage. Tongfu, they don't have much AoE initiation. They don't have Dream Coil. They don't have RP. They don't have Ice Path. Sure, they've got lots of great single target lockdown, but LGD just very elusive in these fights, and if you don't actually kill a hero while he's Dragon-tailed, the spell doesn't do that much for you. Whereas something like Dream Coil, even if you don't kill them, you hold them in position for a long time. You set up an Ice Path, you set up the next round of spells, but they're still going Roche. They say, you don't have RP, you don't have Coil, we're going to do this again. We still have Hand of God, we still have Mech. And truth be told, I don't know if LGD can contest the second time.
Yeah, I'm not too sure whether they can. I mean, Xiaohui's going to do some distraction and try his best, maybe lob in an Acid Spray and try to do some damage on them as well, but the rotation coming out from THE is somewhat slow. Orb, I think, gets stolen here. Roshan's about a quarter HP, and he's still actually weakening on these Chen creeps.
Yeah, if the Chen creeps aren't here, then, well, suddenly feel a bit squishy on the back lines, and Coil is back up for LGD China, so Xiaohui will have that available, the RP, 30 seconds to go before that's online. I don't know if Tongfu can actually do it. Now they have a Medallion up, but Roche is still not dropping fast enough for my liking. If they lose this fight after losing the last one, they're going to be in big trouble.
I mean, we have RP cooling down 15 seconds. I don't think really Tongfu could actually stay there
They
any longer.
have to be wise to that. It's been a long time since the last
They got to
fight.
back up. Roshan's just regenerating HP down to about 2,000 HP. The Orbs, again, constantly checking things out, really lowering everybody's damage. They have RP now. Like, if LG wants to walk in and take a pit fight, they definitely can.
Who do you go on? If you go on the mag, your team gets multiple hero coiled and dies. If you don't go on the mag, he RPs you.
Well, they do go on the mag right now. The Sun's getting charged up. They're going to call down Yao as well, but he drops in an RP before he died. Now I'm going to focus on Shansheng. At least Mech and Hand of God came down, but Shansheng in huge trouble. They do burst him down. Xiaohui's very low. He's got to phase. He cannot phase. And your ultimates, when they don't drop out and when you don't AoE them down, you lose. LGD double buybacks here, and that's going to draw people back. How's going to get sent back? I think Radiant lost more gold in that engagement, even though nobody won anything just yet. Did I see a Midas on Sylar?
Yeah, he's had a Midas for most of the game.
Was not paying attention to it at all.
Yeah, there was a lot of action. It's 13-11, 19 minutes in, 24 kills. It feels like 30. It's just been a lot of back and forth. Here's your stun being channeled. They haven't hit a big unstable concoction yet. Can they hit one now? It goes on to Moo. No acid spray. Sylar dropping pretty fast here. Moo gets skewered back away from his team, but there's still a little too much follow-up on Tongfu's side. More sustained, more burst over the course of a prolonged team fight. Now Xiaohui, overconfident, overextended, lifted up and picked off during that time. And now asleep on Sangsheng. There. Well, phase shifts it. Dodges it like a boss. What a Rubik. What a shitty wizard. Yao on the run. DDC as well. Down the river they go. The Magnus and the Bane driven back. Over the course of these fights, Lumi, it seems like Tongfu just they're less ultimate reliant. They can spam Rocket Barrage. Cooldown's got a very low cooldown, like just around a minute or so. And all the other spells that Rubik can steal, low cooldowns too. So in the prolonged fights, Tongfu seemed to have the better team fight because of that.
Yeah, Tongfu just had really good split in that team fight.
I mean, that sounds weird, right? One team is Magnus, Jakiro, Alchemist, Puck, a lot of AoE. And yet I'm saying the team that doesn't have that actually is the better team fight in that situation.
Right, they just positioned a lot better, right? You have two people sitting over here, and then you have two people sitting on the right side of the ramp. And because of that, Dreamcoil and RP was never going to find anything good. And of course, I think the Dire position really came handy there when the Radiant forced to jump down that one cliff, when the RP is going to do a lot, things like Flame Breath, even the Rubik Glyph is going to do a little bit of extra stunning. So LGD ran down the cliff, and Jimmy, as a result, you had a Puck that died, buyback, and died. You had Magnus that died and buyback and didn't do anything. So LGD lost a ton of their momentum. And if we look at the goal graph right now, it's actually going towards the Tongfu lead.
I'm not sure what Benwoo's hotkeys for the gold graph are, so I'll click it manually. That's right, we have two cameras now, guys. We've got my screen as well as Lumi's. Lumi's is lagging, so we're a team, buddy. We'll switch over to mine here. So we do make improvements here, slowly but surely. BKB. Wow, how fresh, shiny BKB. Top lane really popped it for that. That is not the best way to use your 10-second BKB charge. And he has Aegis. See,
Yeah,
I feel
that was
like
a poor choice.
I feel like you just let them go on you there. Okay, come and dive me. We have Hand of God. Chen can TP in with a mech. And then you are going to lose one or two. And I maybe lose an Aegis for that, but instead, he loses a 10-second BKB charge and gets absolutely nothing.
I hope that was a misclick, because that was definitely the...
if he didn't have Aegis, I could understand that, but when you have Aegis, you should be saying, yes, please go on me. I would love for you to dive my tower, blow a bunch of spells, and then get killed.
Yeah, well,
Oh,
LG
well.
says,
It
all right,
happens.
well, we'll take that one for free, because they definitely need a little bit of recovery after that poor team fight. They won one, they lost another one, but I feel like Sylar and his team is completely fine. Magnus now level 11. We're going to see Empower back online, and it's going to be a farm train. I think Sylar and the rest of his team definitely has the late game secured. Although, with that said, there's definitely a couple of big core heroes on Tongfu, and you should not underestimate them. BKB should be finished right about now. Mu, he has it on stash, and he will bring it now.
I feel LGD, all their damage in the late game does come from one hero. That's the only concern for them is ultimately, as the game goes late, Sylar is the only hero who really dishes it out. And that means, well, you've got to be worried against Tongfu's composition. Call down is hard for melee carries to deal with. Rubik's Lift can be a problem if there's no BKB. And I think the main thing is Dragon Tail and Beastmaster are spammable stuns, especially on the Dragon Tail. And even as far as ults go, one of the lower cooldown, single target lockdown ults in the game. That's my only concern for LGD, but as long as Sylar doesn't get destroyed in a team fight, if he's able to stand and fight, yeah, they definitely have the late game secured.
I mean, this is classic for Protect 1, right? Even though Sylar does all of the damage, it's not like you could ignore Xiao 8's Puck. It's not like you could ignore the Mag, and of course the Fiend Scripting channel. So you want to kill the Mag, or Alchemist, sorry, but you still have to worry about everything else. So it's going to be somewhat difficult for Tongfu, especially when they don't have AoE disable. You talked about the lack of Dreamcoil and RB. They have one single target stun, and if Alchemist survives throughout all of that, then Tongfu might have a little bit of trouble. But for now, they'll worry about Tier 2 Siege. Dragon Knight's still doing a ton of work here, and they're not grouping it for RP again. The good positioning for Tongfu won them the last fight. Let's see if they can do it again.
For Tongfu, it'll be a bit of a slow, steady siege, and I like that a lot for them. They have the Aegis. They've got the double BKBs now. They don't really have to force a fight here. It's almost advisable for them to let LGD go on them as long as they don't instantly lose heroes. Remember, you've got Hand of God, you've got Mech. These heroes are a lot more durable than what they might initially appear at first glance. They don't have to engage, but maybe they could. In comes a missile, just driving everyone back, asleep on move for the time being. There's no Blink Dagger yet on that Magnus, still 600 gold away, and LGD are waiting, just trying to find the opening. The orbs come through. Call down deployed to zone LGD out of tower range. Beastmaster will come in. The Tier 2 mid falls. Tongfu find a Tier 2 mid. They've definitely taken the map control lead here. You see some great warding by them. All signs point to Tongfu being in good shape, but I still think, like you've been talking about, because of the nature of LGD's lineup, their lineup can afford to be behind like this, whereas Tongfu, if Tongfu were in this position, I'd say they were in a lot of trouble, but LGD, a little bit of trouble.
They're okay. I think Xiao actually wanted to make a jump there, but Acid Spray against Blink Dagger, always very annoying to go against. That animation on the ground, very deceptive. Like, sometimes you think you're in the fog, sometimes you think you're outside the cloud. It's just like, okay. Sylar, though, like we talked about, 112 CS, but if you look at net worth, 2,000 gold lead over the Gyrocopter, despite the fact that Dire is leading in terms of tower. That's pretty imbalanced. They're leading actually by 4 towers, and Sylar is still outlasting or out net worthing than Gyro.
Yeah, I don't think any of these were denied either. I don't think there's even a single tower deny for LGD.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, top lane Magnus was not even close to the tower. These two tier 1 and tier 2s mid.
Gyrocopter got 2 loud last hits, remember that too. So that just shows you how insane this Revo's greed is. It's just like imbalanced.
It's a good spell. What Tongfu should be doing is, I think, using Chen creeps a bit more to stack camps. We've seen them, they stack the Ancients here, there's a double stack, but ideally when you have Chen and you have a Dragonite and the Gyrocopter, you should have 3 or 4 camps constantly stacked all game long. Or you should be constantly pressuring, which is the choice they've made. They have 5 heroes grouped up bottom. Inner Beastara is now there, 1 point, and an Aghanim Scepter being worked on by our Beastmaster. They'll take an easy tier 2 bottom, and this sets them up for Roshi at number 2. Aegis will be reclaimed soon. Would like to see some aggressive wards deployed on the way out, and indeed, they'll drop them like spider mines in StarCraft Brood War as they retreat. Great warding for Tongfu. I think that's the thing that's most impressive for me this game. But now Yao's got his Blink Dagger Lumi. Now he's level 11. Now, despite being behind, LGD, 1 RP could rule them all.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the warding, like you said, come in. We saw this ward for the tier 2 tower push. Very effective of seeing any kind of initiation. And I imagine Tongfu's going to, if they set up shop with the Roshan, they'll try their best to ward it up. Acid Spray is going to be so annoying for Yao to actually work with. The AoE is large. He has to get semi-close for that Blink RP or even Blink Skewer. So we'll see whether he's going to find the jump. Sometimes if you are playing against Acid Spray and you just think you blink in an RP and then you RP the ground, that's pretty embarrassing. Hopefully that he doesn't make that play. But generally Yao's Magnus is fairly impressive, so we'll see.
Well, unless Rubik's stealing Acid Spray, the Acid Spray is on his team, so.
Oh. I keep...
I was thinking about what... I was like,
we're done, Zo. We're done.
I was like, wait, are we talking about Rubik stealing Acid Spray here, Lumi? Because I am way too tired to figure that out. Yeah, Alchemist is on his team. So most likely he won't have to fight through that. Still, he has to fight through Chen creeps. You can sick a Chen creep on him. You can sick the boar on him. There actually are a few ways to still prevent this mag from getting off an easy RP, but that's where smoke comes into play for LGD, and that's also where the fact that he doesn't have to be their sole initiator comes into play. Like, he doesn't have to be the one that goes in first. In fact, generally I think it's better for Xiao 8 to initiate. He's the harder hero to kill when he jumps in. He can phase shift. He can blink in and orb out. There's a lot of ways for him to get out of trouble. Mag can be your secondary initiator and probably should be.
Yeah, we're not there at that point in the game yet, but eventually Sylar could just sit on the front line with things like AC and Heart on top and be like, yo, you guys come to me. Sylar needs to actually go to camp and start Midasing some creep, missing them value, although he's going to eat one in lane. But where do you go here if you're Tongfu? You're doing a lot of ancient stacking. I haven't seen it miss too much. They had, I think, another 3 or 4 stack previously where Dragonite took it down with a double damage. You have a fairly stacked Gyrocopter with 3.4k gold, 3.5. You could actually pick up a Demon Edge right now. Do you start to siege that last tier 2 up top, or decide to look for high ground?
Do you try to take it late game? Do they farm for some big items and rely on the fact that they have dual core to outcarry an amazing 4 Protect 1 Alk, but...
Judging from their item purchase, it seems like that's exactly what they're doing. If you look at King J, he's going for Acceptor. If you look at Banana, he's going for Acceptor. Hal's not going for anything small like maybe a Yasha, maybe an Ultimar for some mid-game decent damage. They're all going for late-game item choices. We do see a 4-staff on Shansheng, so if they want to win, they would have gone for mid-game items, but they're drawing this game out longer.
I actually think that's the bet. I'm thinking about it more, and it seems like the better choice, because they haven't been able to break the base wall before Mag gets his Blink Dagger. If you try to end it now, that means grouping, and grouping with this level of items means you're not tanky enough to live through a big RP, coil, ice wall, ice path, rather, spectacular. Like, it'll be too much damage. Also, Alk, as much as he's a fast farmer, one of his big strengths is his farming ability. The thing is, he won't use items as well late game as a Gyrocopter and a DK will, because he's a melee hero. Sure, he's a mobile melee hero. He's still a melee hero. I think for Tongfu, split pushing is necessary because cracking this five-man nut of LGD is nearly impossible, and it'll draw the game out. It'll make what started as a very action-packed game into a slow, methodical crawl, but strategically, I think it's the right play from Tongfu.
Yeah, you say Tongfu Alchemists, or you say Tongfu Heroes use better, use items better, use gold better.
They use gold better, they're just not as good at getting it.
Yeah, this extends to the support of LG as well. I mean, what is Jakiro or Bane Elemental going to do if you give him, 20 more minutes of passive
Ghost
gold?
Scepters.
The Ghost Scepter's nice, but they're not like getting any offensive type of items. If you look at Rubik, that's a Force Staff that swings both ways. You could Force Staff your ally out from Alchemist, or you could Force Staff into an immediate lift. Same thing here for Chen, going for a fairly defensive item in terms of extending team fights. I really think that Tongfu, if team fight goes longer and longer, they have a better and better shot winning.
Yeah, that's what we saw in those bottom engagements, wasn't it? When Coil's down, when RP's down, Tongfu are actually winning the fights. And it's a good old-fashioned Mexican standoff now. Roshan number 2. It feels like just yesterday that Roshan number 1 came to pass, and Roshan number 2's up. He's back, Lumi. He's grown up again. Well, he's ready to leave the nest, though. He's ready to go and see the world, and that means he's going to run into an angry 5-man squad of...
The world extends this far because... Well, maybe this far, because he can walk up the ramp, too. Hao just uses BKB for the lowsies. But nobody knows.
They should not fight at Roche now.
They don't know that, though.
Doesn't matter, though, because if you try to take Roche, they're going to come.
Remember when Xiaowei used the RP up cliff and nobody knew?
Well, he had 2 RPs, though.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Oh, no, that was before he had 2, actually.
He just BKB
they
RP
won
to
that
ground.
game, Lemmy.
Yeah,
It's all a part of the plan.
RP to ground.
The script has been written.
Hao is still ancient stacking himself. I think this is like the 12th ancient stack to LG 0, which is in case you're having difficulty keeping track, Tongfu is winning the ancient stack war.
Yeah, let's actually look at net worth, and Alk is not nearly as far ahead as what I would want him to be if I.
He's still ahead though. That's the amazing thing. Like
he's ahead, but I mean honestly, you're up against Dragon Knight and Gyro, and they're heading for some pretty late game builds. Shadowblade, BKB, Butterfly coming. I would like to be like 8 to 10k ahead of both heroes, and he's only 2 ahead of Gyro and 5 ahead of DK. Yeah, he's got Empower on his side, but he's going to be using BKB, so he won't really have that damage in fights. Yeah. And if once his BKB's done, either they've already won the fight, or he dies, because they'll chain stun him.
Yeah, the Empower is mostly for farming, and it's definitely getting the farm thing done, but in terms of in-game damage output...
Mid lane.
Yeah, they're trying to make jumps here and there. We do have a puck that was smoked up, just kind of ran out. I really think that if Sylar thinks he could win a fight, it has to come through a Basher, and there's no Basher just yet, because right now, I'm not sure whether his allies and himself has enough lockdown to actually kill everybody. If you have a Dream Coil into a 4-man RP into an Alchemist Stun that lands on those 4 people, then obviously you win those team
They
fights.
definitely have the lockdown. They have RP and they have...
It won't land though. It won't land on 3 or 4.
Yeah, can you land it? That's the big question. Smoke reveal, Jig is up, and now Xiaowei just sitting on the sidelines. Tongfu defending their tier 1 mid. LGD, they pretty much have to take this, otherwise Tongfu just have such a good strategic position to fight for Roche. Because you can't backstab them. There's really only one angle to go at the pit. Sure, you can wrap around the bottom lane, but there's a tier 1 there, so you have to run by a tower to do it. There's only one way into the pit right now for LGD China. If you take the tier 1 mid, it opens up quite a few different angles. So as a result, they're doing a great job of defending this. Very
looks like they want to make it go on Sylar. Sylar bops his BKB. He's going to turn around. That's a 2-man RP going backwards here. And we're going to see immediate grip on the BKB Dragon and how pops the BKB. That's like really a lot of call down. DD's on the run. Yao's on the run. I think they're both going to die. Meanwhile, we do see Alchemist getting focused by 3 or 4. He's also going to go down. I think he barely survives. And so is Puck. Puck's going to go out as well. Hao's very low. And a single duo big blink. Shockwave. Right click trying to bring him down. He actually does die to a stun. He does not have the Aegis just yet. And now the stun's going to come through. Sylar's low. Sylar is going to go down as well. Just a carnage in the mid lane here. Nobody still died. Yeah, Xiaowei's focusing on Shansheng. He's going to win that man fight over Shansheng as well. Great play.
Sangsheng overestimated himself a bit as terrific there. He did not have to chase that.
Man, he was like, I'm at 60% health. He's just 2 hit away. Let me make that chase. But Xiaowei with the phase, with the Raining Rift, and just made a spectacular play. But who won that team fight?
I would say Tongfu came out a bit on top because RP's down now. And I think they might be able to contest for Roche. They're actually painting it. They want to go back in. The RP was stolen in that fight, and that's a bit of an issue for LGD China. We've been talking a lot about LGD having a somewhat better team fight if they get it off, but not if RP gets stolen. And now with the Force Staff and level 2 spell steal on the Rubik, he steals RP if he lives, which kind of hurts them that he didn't, because he would have had RP for the next team fight. It's level 2 spell steal, still would have been up for some time. I think Tongfu come out very slightly ahead there, but they haven't taken Roche. And now, if LGD trying to take their tower mid, they could be in trouble. I don't think LGD should be forcing fights, though. They need RP to fight.
Yeah, and they don't have it up. Dream Coil is coming off cooldown in a couple of seconds. I do believe that Tongfu won that fight as well, particularly because both Hao and Sylar died, but Tongfu is working with 2 or 3 cores, so that was Dragon Knight benefiting from, you know, his allies and the enemy carries are dying. That's your Beastmaster playing a little bit of catch-up, working towards his Acceptor, which, by the way, it's flying out right now, so...
Oh, this is so... To have an Acceptor on the Roche Pit, the cooldown is a nice bonus, but the big thing is just the initiation range.
Yeah.
You try to run into Blink RP or to Blink Skewer, you could get roared before you even jump.
Yep. The range is so long that you could just RP DDC, for example, in the back line when he's gripping, and that push thing, push aside is so good at it, for example, slowing the Alchemist. It's a 50% slow that goes through BKB, so it's just very impressive, every part of that spell. And of course, the RP cannot be forgotten. The fact that it makes him tankier, gives him more wild access, one of the de facto item choices on Beastmaster.
And Alk, no Basher yet. No, he'll need an MKB now. That's the other issue, is he's got to be able to deal with what the Gyro as well as the Dragon Knight pick up in items, and he's only got 1 hero's inventory slots to do it. So he'll need an MKB if he really wants to try and take down Hao by himself. And unfortunately for LGD, well, actually, wow, they do have a Shao 8 Scythe. I was going to say they need one, and I didn't think it would be that close, but he's got a 36-minute Scythe, which... Honestly, Shao 8, 7, 3, and 6. He's done a lot more than I thought. Oh, here's the initiation.
DDC on the right side, a little bit trouble. The sun's going to come out. RP, that's on 2, but the double BKB up.
Stolen again. Stolen again.
Oh, my goodness. And look at the long range of the roar. DDs go down. The double BKB are down, but I still don't think you can take this fight, Shao. It's going to be charging out the sun. In fact, they will take the fight. They want Hao. I'm not too sure whether to get a 3-man Dream Coil. They were still jumping on him. I think he's going to get sent back. Chen Hand of God is going to come through right now. Shao dies. Yao dies. And everybody's on the full retreat. Sylar BKB's out, and they are just slowing him down with a Frost Dragon. And Sylar's also going to go down, and that's got to be a huge momentum swing, as that's a 5-man team wipe. The Roshan's going to go down as well, and guess what? At the end of the day, the tier 1 mid is still alive. I'm not sure how, but it is still actually alive right now.
He stole RP, and he hit 3. And yes, Yao hit 2 carries with RP, but there was 0 follow-up.
Right.
Song Sheng winning the fight for his team. I'm very surprised LGD trying to engage. Once they should have called that Rubik stole RP, and as much as it sucked, backed off. Not gone in. Sylar runs up the hill. His entire team tries to support him in doing so. Maybe they just couldn't get the call off in time, or Shao or Ya didn't even realize in the chaos of the fight. But they got this is the dead zone. Like, this is where you don't want to be. You do not want to be running up this hill as 4 heroes when RP's been stolen and Rubik is a 4-staff. They really should have just backed and cut their losses there. But instead they go man mode right into 3-hero RP, and well. That's your fight. Now an AC up for the Dragon Knight. And this is where... Does the Alk even have greater net worth than them anymore? I'm pretty curious, because...
Barely.
To me, this is him not having greater net worth. First of all, he's got a Midas, so scratch that gold, because that minimal attack speed is not doing a whole lot for you at this stage in the game. And the other thing is, would you rather have mass AoE cleave or splash on a ranged hero that also slows everything in the Dragon Knight? Or would you rather have melee auto attacks that don't cleave because you're using BKB and removes some power? Question's easy. You'd rather be this Dragon Knight right now.
I mean, Sylar is not having a Sylar-esque game. They're fighting a lot more aggressively than I imagined than they should be. If this game was just AFK farm for 38 minutes, Sylar would be doing a lot better. But back to the fight that you talked about, the decision for them to actually go back. And Tongfu invis up looking for a kill. They see Sylar, and the range stuns are going to rain down here. Blink. Oh, nice self-deny, or self-disrupt here, but Sylar's going to get focused on quite easily. Blink, Yao's confused. He skewers backward, finds nobody because he's BKB up. He's slowed down, he's stunned up, and the follow-up damage is going to come through. And that's got to be it as we see Tongfu breach. Oh, DD actually going to survive through that, but it looks like Puck in big trouble. I heard the RP being used. I'm not too sure whether that's Rubik's RP. And now Hao in big trouble. Hao, though, should have be okay. He's got the Aegis. He uses it.
Now wait, on the run. Mu giving chase. Can they turn around for Sylar here? Mu is just diving the tier 4s by himself, finds a kill, could kill Shao 8 as well. There's your Dragon Tail. Down he goes. The Frost Dragon still so tanky, so ridiculously good. Tongfu, in dominant fashion, will take game 1 of this best of 3. Score 26-14. Game time 39 minutes when the GG was called, just about on the button. And you gotta say, Tongfu, some magnificent Chen play from Banana, setting them up early for good success mid-game. And I think this is where LGD China just... I mean, I know when Bruno was here, he talked a lot about Chinese teams just not being as efficient. I think it's much more LGD China just not being as efficient, in these long passive games. They farm one hero really well, the Alchemist, but Tongfu were farming multiple cores. They used the map better. I think the early movement was a little bit more decisive, and LGD China just a little too reliant on the enemy team screwing up sometimes, it feels.
Yeah, I mean, their particular draft using 4 Protect 1, we saw how team fights go. Team fights that when you trade your Alchemist for the Gyro, even the 2 hard 1 carry roll died, you're losing because you're farming 1 hero and they're farming like 3.
Yeah.
So your one core is really not going to keep up. Going back to that fight where they decided to go in after the RP got the 2 BKB heroes, it's very tempting to say, hey guys, there are 2 BKBs down.
Yeah.
We have our BKB Alchemist. Let's go in and own. But they forgot the fact that Dragonite is mad tanky. They forgot the fact that there is a Butterfly on Gyrocopter. You don't make those kill even if they don't have BKB up. So
I thought Tongfu's selection on where to fight was just better that game.
Yes.
Like when they chose to fight, it was with Rubik having stolen RP. It was when the ults were down. They weren't really committing to Roche, but just sort of dancing around it, trying to force LGD to make some mistakes there. So I thought they were just the more patient team this game, and I think they could afford to be more patient. Because they
have 2 cores.
Yeah, they had the dual core. They had a Gyro, they had a Dragonite, and both heroes do more than Alk eventually.
Yep.
Eventually, Gyrocopter hits everyone in 1,000 AoE from the flat cannon shot, killing supports. Dragonite, nearly invincible, stuns and slows everyone. It was a better late game lineup.
Yeah, and to me, I think this is one of the few games I could talk about this, but Tier 1 tower being kept up alive for 35 minutes, one of the most important factor. You talked about how the Radiant can't come in from the left side, or the top mid lane.
The Tier 1 mid for the Dire, yeah.
Right. Because they can't come in from that, they have to jam down that ramp. And when you have 2 heroes on the left side of the Roche, and we have 3 heroes on the right side of the Roche, it's so easy for them to dodge at RP, so easy for them to dodge at Dreamcore, and that's why Xiao 8 and Yao could never find a good one. So Tier 1 tower alive equates easy game if you're on Roche.
Well, I was saying LGD China, I didn't think they were as efficient with their time, but I still think they could have taken this game. Like, some of their fight selections were just not the best. I think the biggest one that hurt them was the one where RP was stolen.
Yeah.
And then they choose to run up the ramp, Sylar leading the way, and he leads all of his allies into a 3-hero RP.
Again, no BKB on him carry, easy fight.
Yeah. Well, guys, we're going to take a quick break now. It's a best of 3, though. When we come back, we'll be live with LGD China Tongfu, Game 2. It's the RedBull ECL LAN Finals, day number 1. After this match, we have one more 5v5 best of 3, and then we move on into the 1v1 tournament. That's the big stuff. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.